What's up? What's up? What's up? Man, welcome to Confidence Factor Talks for Men. I am your host or co-host, one of the co-hosts, Lamont Gwynn. I am a Confidence Factor man. And we are here tonight. But first, let me just say to Rudy LaRose, brother, we know that you are always in the building. And it's because of you that I'm doing this show opener, right? I can never do a Rudy LaRose, but brother, I've been watching you. And so I'm going to bring that fire tonight like you would. Welcome to Confidence Factor Talks. Again, I am Lamont, man. We have a show for you tonight. Tell me, the last 4 days have been just amazing. Spending it with my Confidence Factor brothers. And tonight we are going to break down what has happened in the 360 conference. And when I tell you there's something about getting in a car and driving 6 hours with a brother and just having heart level conversation. There's something about renting Airbnb with 5 brothers and having great conversation. There's something about going to a conference all decked out in your Confidence Factor gear, showing up as lions. So I'm excited about this show. I'm excited about having this conversation because we're going to break down what we learned.
Mirror.
So without further ado, listen, if you're watching, put in hashtag heart level and let us know where you're watching us from. And if you're watching us on the replay, put in hashtag replay. So without further ado, let me introduce this brother who is one of the co-founding members and co-host of Confidence Factor. Man, this lion right here, without this lion, we would not be who we are. Because this brother, he's always got your back. Let me tell you, during the conference, he won the No Lion Left Behind award. Because every time one of the brothers went somewhere, he was sure to be there. This brother believes and he teaches people how to reverse engineer. And he believes there's only 2 times you show up. When you want to and when you don't. Man, and even tonight, he's showing up. I'm gonna welcome to the stage my good friend, my lion, Bobby B. Welcome, Bobby.
Yeah, baby, yes. Tonight. This is CF Talks. We have heart level conversations that lead to transformation. And we got those CF notes, baby. We got CF notes. If you couldn't make it, don't worry about it. We hooked you up. We're going to bring back the latest, the greatest, the amazing, the outstanding. Why? Because our voice has to be heard, right? So we're together as a pack. Today is a great day, and it is the best day of my life. Feeling a little challenged in the body, but that can't stop the mind. So literally, I'm going to lay here and bring the fire while I'm laying down. So I'm excited to get these CF notes so we can share with the brothers how they can unleash their riches and get ahead in life. It's all about growth and contribution. So tonight we're going to grow. Appreciate you, brother. Let's make it happen. Bobby
Yes,
B.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Bobby. Man, your show up makes me show up. I just want you to know that. Because, when Bobby, if Bobby B don't show up, you better call the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. That's what I believe, okay?
Hey, it's all about it, man. 2 times you show up when you feel like it, and when you don't. Brothers are depending on us, so we got to do the thing.
That's right. And all the way east of where I am, in the Hill Estates, man, listen, the Hill Estates is a place that you just can't get into. You got to be a Confidence Factor man to get into. Now, this brother is always setting the framework. He believes that if you want to increase your standard of living, you got to increase your standard of giving. He believes that he believes in process over perfection. And he always sets the framework and it helps you manage expectation. This brother, man, we couldn't do it without you, brother. All the way from Orlando, Florida, the professor himself, Darian Hill. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
The professor's in the building, Lions. What's going on? Listen, it is Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. We're back here for another Confidence Factor Talks, and I'm truly excited to be in the building with you fellas. Lions are sharing their voices. Lions are showing up. Confidence Factor, as Bobby said, we have heart-level conversation that lead to transformation, showing up 2 times when we feel like it and when we don't. So we're here for another Tuesday special show tonight. As the fellas have already mentioned, the Lions have already mentioned, the Courageous Lions have already mentioned. Yeah, we went out to Atlanta this past weekend, and we're here to share some of the great nuggets, the value, the inspiration, the motivation with you fellas tonight. We're having a panel discussion, and it's going to be special. We have some guests that we met literally at the show, at the conference, and have now become part of the Confidence Factor community. So we're excited to introduce some of the new members, and excited that these fellas have decided to lock arms with us as we venture to impact the lives of over 5 million men, right? I just doubled it. We'll take the 10. I don't know. God said just double it. Whatever the number is, just go ahead and double it one time, right? So we're gonna say 5 million. We're gonna say 10 million. This is a spiritual movement. This is a movement that's needed right now. We know that so many men right now, they feel either lonely, feel isolated, they feel like they don't matter. And this community is a space where you get to express your voice, you get to be heard, you get to be celebrated. And we have put together this platform to honor you, to help you to level up, to provide you with the opportunity to unleash your riches. Number one, your relationships, your income, your contribution to community, your health, your education, and your spirituality. And of course, we certainly want to make sure you start with the foundation, which is what, Lamont, it is the self-mastery, right? It's all about that self-mastery, making sure that, you are the foundation of your success. Without you, nothing moves. If you don't have that big self-image, then nothing moves in your life. So we want to make sure that you have a good self-mastery. Second, of course, is to have success, you must have accountability. The Training and Development Society says that, your odds of you achieving your goals goes up by 95% when you have a community and accountability. And that's what we provide here in Confidence Factor. And last but not least, you got to have the resources and you have the tools. Tony Robbins says this: success is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. So you still have to have the mechanics. So we want to bring the right information, the right tools, the right conferences, the right information to you so you can level up both in your personal and your professional life. And that's what we're about here at Confidence Factor. So yeah, I'm fired up and excited, Lamont, to get this show on the road, my brother.
That's right. And like I said, Rudy LaRose is always in the building, watching from YouTube. So we honor you, brother. We see you. And thank you for being a part of it. And thank you for going up to Atlanta with us, man. We just had a great time. Now, we also have another member who, this brother, let me tell you, this brother here, he dropped some nuggets. So we're in the car in Atlanta. And the brother, we're talking about, looking at our past, right? And he says, in the Bible, there was the woman, he's talking about Lot's wife, who turned around and looked and turned into a pillar of salt. So if we look at our background, we continue to look at our background, we become stuck like salt. And I'm like, whoa, stuck like that. In that statue, I was like, this brother's always dropping gems. None other than Javon, Dr. Love Jones. Welcome to the show, brother.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother.
Loud and clear, brother. You're in the building.
All right.
Welcome.
I just want to, hey, I'm in the building. What's up? Shout out to Rudy LaRose, but I am in the building. I'm excited. I'm fired up. We're about to get into the real talk. First off, thanks for shouting that out. That was a live download that came to me at that moment. And it's something that I'm looking to go forward with my life and stop looking back. Because when you look back, you do get stuck. And we don't need to be salt pillars out here when we're trying to get to our dreams and get to our goals. We don't need no salt pillar energy. So we need to just keep on growing and leveling up. Let's go.
Excellent. So listen, you're the professor. I'm just going to hand it over to you, brother. I'm just going to, I did the opening. I did my part. I hope I made Rudy LaRose proud. I want you to, since you are great at setting the framework, if you can direct this conversation tonight, I'd really appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know I'm always for that, definitely. So we're here again, have conversations, deep level conversations, primarily just kind of a panel discussion. We're going to toss it around to all the fellas to kind of share, what value and insights they got from the show. And before we do that, though, we're certainly going to bring on our special guest, a new member to the show. So what are we talking about today, Lamont? I want you to share with them what is the topic of tonight's show. Talk to me, brother.
Yeah, so we're really going to be talking about how to create a 360 life and achieve ultimate freedom, power, success, profit, legacy, and happiness. And at this conference, that's what we learned. And it's really, this conversation really isn't about, dropping great quotes. What we really want to do, and what we're going to do tonight, is talk about how it applies to us, how this outcome can happen in our lives, and what gems we got from this weekend that will help us do so.
Yeah, absolutely. So like we said, if you're tuning in, put hashtag heart level, let us know what part you're tuning in from, what part of the country you're tuning in from, what part of the country. We are a global community here in Confidence Factor. And certainly if you're watching on a replay, put hashtag replay. And going to events, and it's life changing. And you're gonna see tonight, just from some of the shares from some of the fellas, we got some guys that's really, really fired up right now. They have found their position. They have found their kingship. They've got the information they needed to really step out boldly in life and to achieve whatever success that their hearts desire. So I'm excited for tonight's talk. So before we get started, like I said, I definitely want to bring on our new member and our new guest to the show. He's somebody that we just connected with. You can tell that he's a solid brother, somebody who's young, hungry, already successful in his own right. And we're just proud of the work that he's already done in his life. We're proud of the work that he's going to be doing here within Confidence Factor, the impact that he's going to make. We've brought it into the fold. He's going to be a stellar member, a CF certified member in this community. I just already know it. So, I'll go to introduce him. Mr. James Hewitt, come on to the stage, my man. What's going on, champion?
Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I don't have my nickname yet, but that's okay. I'm James Hewitt. And just real quick, I always love to say, life is different when you're winning. So I'm ready to soak up all this knowledge, take my game to the next level, take life to the next level, and I hope everyone can do the same.
Love it. Absolutely. So like I said, tonight is going to be a panel discussion, man. We had a lot of guys who went up to Atlanta, and some could not be here tonight, but we got a few people that's here tonight. So want to introduce another gentleman, of course, that's coming on board. He's been a part of the community for a while, like so many of you who are just kind of watching and not engaging as much, but this brother has stepped forward boldly into his rightful place in his position and has made a decision and says yes to himself. And not only he says yes to himself, man, he's just receiving the right information and they're fired up to go and change not only his life, but also change other people's lives as well. So, of course, I'm speaking to none other than the great Chris Ward. So go ahead and bring Chris to the table, man. Chris, what's going on, champion? Can you hear us?
What's up, baby? What's good? It's good to be in your presence once more again.
Yes.
Man, you don't understand how impactful and great it was to kick doors down with you guys this weekend and get some knowledge, some information, and to bring it back home and start, the application part, practice. That's what we're talking about now. So listen, it's on. Let's go. Come on.
It's on. As you can see, Chris is fired up. And so, usually it's myself, it's Rudy, and it's Bobby on the show tonight. And we have some special people in the building tonight with us. So, I want to hear from those fellas. I want to give them a voice. We here in Confidence Factor, it's all about helping men to find their voice. And we say when you find your voice, you find your power, your ability to take action, your ability to show up, your ability to have confidence in your ability to make, get results in your life, both in your personal life and your professional life, right? We're here to level up. And so we're going to start off the discussion just kind of with a couple of shares. So here's how we're doing this. All right. So as you guys know, like we said, we went up to see E.T. We went up to see Inky Johnson. We saw, Ed Milet wasn't there. We said Jessie Itzler. We saw Deon Sanders. We saw some phenomenal people that were in the business, some powerful men that really set the example and the stage for how we can show up in life and really make a difference and an impact in the world. And I'm so honored by these men for saying yes to themselves so that they can show up and be a representation and a light for what we can be in this world. And so those brothers, among others, drop some amazing jewels, amazing nuggets, people that you guys may not even know, who are multimillionaires, who are family men, who are men of God, men that are just, again, powerful individuals. So here's what we're going to be doing. So we're just going to be going, around the table here and just kind of sharing, whatever nuggets and whatever insights, information that we've learned, and then really talk about how it is applied to our life. What are we going to be doing with that information? Because as Chris so eloquently put, ultimately it's about execution. Action is the bridge between the inner world and the outer world. And so many times in life as men, we set these great intentions, but we're not seeing the fruit in our life. So what do we got to do? We got to execute. We got to practice. And so we're going to be talking about some of the things that we're going to be doing on the action side of things to be able to get the results. So, here's what I'm going to do. Since we have, of course, some new individuals to the table, I'm going to call in the new individuals. I'm going to call in the new men of Confidence Factor to share. I know they're fired up to share what's there for them. So, James, I'm going to call on you first, man. I want you to kind of just share, one piece of information, one piece of insight that you got from the summit, and then tell the fellas, why you need to be at these conferences, why we need to, really come together as men to collaborate, to fellowship with each other, so that we can grow.
All right. One thing, well, to start off to answer that question, one of the great things about the confidence factor that I really applaud, especially in this day and age, more so of my generation too, a lot of men feel like they have to have this hard persona or, just stay to themselves, especially when they're established at a certain level. A lot of men feel like they need to stand out and be on their own and be an alpha and everything. And one thing I noticed right away, I met these gentlemen standing in a line, just standing in a line, we're complimenting each other. Where are you from? Figured out we're from the same place. I just want to first of all thank you guys for being so welcoming, for embracing me right away. I mean, it was nothing but great positive energy. And I knew right away, just seeing the collective of you guys as men and with the shirts and everything, I said, oh man, that is awesome. That's definitely something I would love to be a part of. So that's definitely very, very important to have that camaraderie and just have that accountability, which is what I'm going to go into. So one of the quotes that stuck out to me from the show, I believe it was, I forget exactly which speaker it was, but the quote was, "You don't have permission to use the truth as your excuse to be a failure." That was one thing that really, really stuck out to me, because throughout all the speakers that were there, there was one kind of common energy about not using excuses, not using, disabilities, not using disadvantages or anything to stop you. And one of the other great things that some of them said, even when they wanted to do that, they had that inner circle around them that wouldn't allow them to do it. Like there's certain people say, man, I can call 18 and maybe I'll be like, but man, this happened. And he'd be like, so what? What are you going to do about it? And so, just to go along with what you were saying, that quote alone, when you have a pack around you that helps you and holds you accountable and not let you use those truths or, the disadvantages in life to, contribute to your failure, is definitely a great thing.
No, I love that. I love that, man. That is a powerful quote, my brother. And James, of course, we want to keep you going, man. So tell the community a little bit about yourself. And obviously, you're already somebody who believes in investing in himself. Why? Because you showed up, right? So I want you to tell the fellas a little bit about yourself, and then also, why is it so important to invest in yourself? Where did you learn that from? Talk to us.
Geez, I'll try not to be so long-winded, but honestly, man, it wasn't instilled in me from God. It wasn't instilled in me. I have a crazy story. Don't want to be too long-winded. Like I said, long story short, when I was back home in Missouri, I was involved in some things that I wasn't proud of. And literally a switch just flipped for me in high school. When I got to about my senior year, most of my friends, I was in all kind of sports. They all were focused on going D1 and doing this. And I said, you know what? I just want to be able to go somewhere where I can have a clean image, a clean start, where no one knows me, where I can't depend on anyone, where I just throw myself in the forest and have to make things happen for myself and just create a whole new image. So I made a vow to myself. I said, as soon as I graduate, no matter what I have, no matter how much I have, I'm going to move somewhere furthest away from my hometown, which it ended up being like California or here. I have family in California. Long story short, I saved up enough money. I had 2 bags of clothes and a plane ticket to Florida. I found an online source where I lied about transferring like a Wendy's job or something just to get into an apartment, and met roommates online who I've never met in my life. And I showed up with 2 bags of clothes. It is a crazy story how it all happened. But long story short, man, I just took that leap of faith, and I didn't have my father in my life. I didn't really have too many strong, prominent men in my life. It literally just everything came to me straight from God. And, even from the way I started dressing, a lot of people, used to compliment my suits and everything. They're like, man, who taught you how to do this? Who taught you how to dress? And who taught you how to do these things? And I was like, same answer that I'm giving you guys here today. Luckily it came straight from God. And I've always seeked out different mentors and being part of groups like this. But at the same time, I never used it as an excuse of, I didn't have a male around me. I didn't have a father. I didn't have this kind of help. In fact, I made it tough on myself. I moved somewhere completely far away from home. And I said, I'm throwing myself into the jungle and I just got to make it happen. And it wasn't easy. There's times, I've never slept outside, but there's times I've been having to rent rooms from people, or, it hasn't been all pretty. But at the end of the day, I believed in myself. I trusted in myself, and, I've made a great living for myself. And I'm still going. I'm only 27. I'm super proud of myself. I make my family proud. They all look up to me, especially the younger family. And it's just a blessing, man. So I just want to continue to get better and better, because one thing about it is the goal is to be here. Now, just because I came from here, and most people I know never even made it here, just because I'm here doesn't mean I don't need to still get here. So a lot of people, they can make it to certain levels, and just because it's above where they started from or above where anyone else in their life is, they can get settled there and get caught and get cocky and confident. And, this is it. I'm on top. I'm doing better than I ever have and better than anyone I ever know. But I still recognize that there's a long way for me to go. And I'll end this off with another quote that came from the conference. Forgive me, I don't remember exactly what speaker it was. Actually, it was like the host. And he said, the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. So, that definitely stuck with me as well.
Man, I love that. And you know what's beautiful, with your share is it's heart level. So can we give James a heart level, man? Let's give some James a heart level, man. That was a heart level share. It was perfect, James. Thank you so much for your vulnerability. Thank you so much for being an example of the quote that you just shared. You are an example of the quote that you just shared. Don't allow your truth for the reason that you don't succeed, right? So you obviously have made a decision to change your environment, and you're an example of what it means to really accelerate yourself to success by changing environment, by putting yourself in the wrong places. That helps you to accelerate, that helps you to grow. And so we honor you, man. We honor your life. We here in Confidence Factors celebrate you for who you are, the decisions you've made to change your life and continue to impact your family and everybody you're going to come in contact with, man. So honor yourself. Appreciate you, my brother. That was an amazing share. Amazing share. Awesome stuff. So we're going to keep it moving. You heard it from James Hewitt, man. A beautiful share. And of course, we're going to keep it going. Another brother who, like I said, has really inspired me and has given me the words for the impact that we're doing here with this community. He has given me a lot of insight into how we can better connect and engage with the men. And I had an opportunity to have a conversation with this brother, and it was so transformative. I'm talking about none other than Chris Ward. And we're going to ask Chris Ward to come up and kind of share his insights, what he got from it, and how has it transformed his life, and what is he going to be doing moving forward to make a deeper impact. Chris, the floor is yours, my man.
Man, so what's happening? So listen, I got so much from this conference. Right off the bat, within the first 5 minutes, like I got my seed, and I could have left right then and there, but there was more for me to get. So, but the biggest takeaway I saw, and this is not, it's not more so what I heard, is what I saw, and it was the impact that one man can have just by being obedient to the call. Like that was the biggest impact for me, because I'm trying to do something on a massive scale myself, and if I could even come half as close as what ET is doing, yo, I'd be so happy. You know what I'm saying? But with that though, I gotta be able to do the things that's going to get me there. I gotta apply the application. I gotta practice. Like it's not just gonna happen by itself. And so following up with that, it was a great thing that I found my position so that I can know and see, that's possibly me in the future. Like that is a glimpse of my future, the impact that I can possibly have in just one sitting of 3,000 men coming to figure out and learn how to be men and be better men. Like and that was another thing that I saw. We're, as men, we're searching, we're looking, we're hungry. We no longer want to be going on the same trajectory that the world is going on. Like we want to change some things, and in order for those things to change, we got to change first and foremost. Men have to get in their rightful position and take back the control of the vehicle, of the car, of this daggone world, and put it on a better track, better course. And so seeing 3,000 men there searching and looking for better, searching and looking for that hope, searching and looking for that voice, searching and looking for that power, searching and looking for a better way overall, was just like eye-opening, because that told me, it was like, as men we're struggling, as men we're hurting, and we want to figure out a way to how to unhurt and make this a better world for us as well. So man, it was just a lot of information I received, and as y'all know, I came back. Man, I'm so on fire. I'm busy at Washington right now. Man, on fire. You better watch out. Shoot, I'm ready, man. Man, it was just so transformative for me. Like all this energy and all this emotion that you guys see out of me. 3 days ago, this was not me. Like, it was not me at all. I was just chilling. What's up, man? I'm good. You all right? Yeah, I'm good, man. But no, not anymore. Like, I found my post, I found my position. I accepted the crown, I accepted the throne, and like it's on now. Like we ready. Like I'm coming for everybody that needs help. I'll give you a little a snip. So today I was eating in Boston's Coffee House, and there was another man sitting like a few tables across from me, and he was by himself too. And so I was just like, "Hey man, hey, are you by yourself? Like you got friends? You have a community? You have people that with you?" Or you with, or are you a loner like me, or what's going on? And we had a nice little banter, chit chat, and he was like, "Nah, man, I got a whole bunch of friends." I was like, "Okay, I was just checking." He was like, "Just nobody was really was able to come, but I did end up finding a friend to come eat with me or whatnot." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I didn't want you to just be eating by yourself, because I know how it is. I'm only child. I'm a tiger. And I'm used to being all by myself, but I also know that I can't stay by myself, and it's not good to be by yourself. And so, I told him about the conference. I told him about Confidence Factor Group, and he was like, "Man, I'm gonna have to look both of them up. That sounds like y'all doing some good stuff. Y'all own something." And so I was like, and so things like that. I was like, so now, am I your brother's keeper? You daggone right I am. So, that type of stuff, it was just being what another thing I saw, and I love it, was actually two things. It was seeing men support men. You know, that was huge for me to see. And then another thing was seeing men show love and love on other men. That was huge for me because you don't see that men to men. Like it just doesn't happen, especially in our community. That stuff does not happen at all. So I think that's the end of my rant. So I'm gonna give it back to the professor.
Oh man, listen, Chris. There's so much to say. There's so much to say about you, my brother. Like you said, you have been transformed. You have been unleashed. The person you are today is not the person who left to go to Atlanta on Friday, man. And to me, when I told you when I saw your video, man, I told my wife, I said, this guy, I was emotional watching your video, to be honest with you, because to see your happiness, to see your joy, to see your fulfillment, this is the thing that all of us are chasing, and everything that we acquire in life. Ultimately, it's the state that we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to a state of bliss, happiness, fulfillment, joy, and to see you so excited about life was such a great thing. I'm gonna ask you one last question, if you don't mind, before we go on to Javon. I want you to share like what is the one thing, what's the one thing that you're gonna be doing now? And you shared a couple of things. What is one thing that you're gonna be doing now that maybe you weren't doing before you went to Atlanta, but you're gonna start doing right now? What's that one thing?
That one really just being more expressive and showing more emotion. Like that was that's one thing as men that we struggle with, expression of our emotions. So knowing that energy and vibration and frequency runs the world. Like, dude, you holding on to your daggum energy and emotions, like you're not putting nothing out there, so you're not getting nothing in return. And so that was huge for me, and to have the impact that I want to have and that I'm trying to have. You're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to express some stuff. You're gonna have to show some people your other self, your other side, in order to have the impact, the vibration, leave your mark to Inky Johnson, to make your time count and your presence felt. Like that right there, that presence felt. Like that's what I'm trying to do. Like I'm trying to leave people, leave people's presence and they still feel me while I'm gone. Like that's what I'm trying to do. And so the energy and the emotion that I'm going to be putting out and displaying is coming from me, but it's also coming from my fire. It's coming from my God, because he made me this way. He was like, dude, you was a spitball of emotions, but you don't know this yet. But when it come out, the world better watch out, because he gonna be flaming. So listen, that's what I'm going to be doing from here on out. Like it's just expression, energy, emotion. Like I'm vibrating pretty high. I'm letting these frequencies go, and I'm giving the world energy. I got so much to give that I ain't gonna run out. That's the way I feel right now. I'm loaded. I'm locked and loaded. Let's go.
Love it. And Chris, on the drive, we talked about, the voice, a man finding his voice, and we end up really putting something together. When a man finds his voice, he finds his power. And watching you, I'm sure we all can agree. James, Lamont, Bobby, Javon, everybody's watching. We all can agree that, brother, you have found your voice, and you are powerful, my brother. And like I said, the world better watch out, because you're going to make your mark, and you're going to make your presence felt. So that's beautiful. Keep rocking, my brother. Keep rocking.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to go on to the next line in the building, of course. And, he's Mr. Level Up, Mr. Dr. Love Jones. Another brother that's having some transformation, man. We had such a heart level conversation on the ride back, and there was a lot of emotions, and there was a lot of love, and there's a lot of, just transformation. I can tell you, I know this guy is going to be doing just some amazing things. I'm looking forward to his second book. I'm looking forward to, his speaking career. I'm looking forward to his course that he's going to be putting together. I'm just looking forward to seeing him touch their lives and, being the father that he envisions to be, to his daughter and leave a legacy. So Javon, come on up to the stage, man, and share with us, your biggest takeaways and who are you going to who are you being now in the world after going to this conference, man?
All right, so man, first off, I don't think y'all know how much this conference did for me. Right? I don't think y'all truly get it, right? I had a rough week last week, and I was on the verge of being like, you know what? I tap out. I can't do this. I'm just gonna stay home and let y'all rock out, and I'll figure out my own mess from home, right? But God did not allow me to do that. The higher wisdom, the higher power did not allow me to do that. So I went, right? First off, I turned 34 on Sunday. So this was a birthday trip. It was one of the best some birthdays I've had in a long time. And it did not involve me turning up at a club and drinking, right? It involved me being in a conference, taking notes and thinking. The thing that I came away with from that event is, number one, it's possible to get a bunch of men in one building. It's possible. We've seen the evidence, right? We've seen it, right? Men can come together. There's over 3,000 men in there. They can come together, right? And so that's something I walk away, because what we're doing is to know that. Another thing I could tell you, like I love, there's some amazing quotes from some of the amazing guys. We learned so much things, but the one thing that I can say that I took away with is put your soul into it, right? And the reason why that quote touched me so much, by Jessie Itzler, he said, you got to put your soul in it. Why? Because as passionate I am, as strong as I am, I haven't put my soul in everything I've been doing. I've been just relying on gifts and be like, okay, I can talk well, I look good, I can show up, and at any point I could come in and set the trend. I've been relying on my talent. I haven't relied on the very natural thing that I have, and it's the essence of who I am. I haven't put my essence behind my craft. And that is the reason why I've had some of the struggles I've had, because I haven't said, you know what, yes, you see me, Javon, Dr. Love Jones, but I haven't put that essence, that who I am, my story, my shortcomings, my growth, why I became who I became, who I manifested to be. All these things is me. And what I walked away, I said, I'm not going to put anything less than my soul in it. Why? Because, for one, I made that commitment to myself. And two, I made that commitment to my brothers. And they're not going to let me do it, right? So overall, between the conversation right at home, I made it realize that I got to go full out. I got to put my soul. I got to be willing to practice that aspect of doing what I got to do consistently, daily, because when you don't practice, then you're not prepared. And there's moments in life where the things that you're practicing the most is going to show up. And one of the things I want to say is, we're always practicing. You can be practicing excellence or mediocrity. And when you're not practicing excellence and you're on default, it's usually mediocrity. And mediocrity will show up in your life. It has showed up in mine. I land this plane.
Oh man. Listen, we don't want you to land just yet there, partner. We don't want you to land just yet. You shared some great stuff. And of course, yes, we did celebrate your birthday again. Happy birthday to you, man. Another year around the sun. And I love what you said, that you weren't in a club, you were in a conference thinking, right? You're in a conference thinking about your future, setting a new pathway for the things that you want to create and life that you want to live. And that's a beautiful thing. So here's what I want to know. So what is kind of the one thing, after this weekend, what is the one thing that you're committed to, that you're going to be really full force putting a commitment to and putting a stamp on in your life? And I also want you to share, before we bring up the great Lamont, the producer, why is it important for men to be part of the community? Why is it important to men to go to conferences and invest in themselves? You have the floor, my man.
All right. So What I would say is this, right? I am the founder of this company, Goldmine Enterprise, right? I created it. It's mine. I got my paperwork on it, right? My goal is to make sure you guys know what that company is, right? You guys know what we do in Goldmine Transformation Company. My goal is to stop giving my energy to other things that does not have my name, to the ownership of it, and start giving more of my energy to the thing that have my name at the ownership, the thing that I created for my soul, for my spirit. So my commitment is to get my course out there, continue this book writing journey I'm on. You know, book one is cool. I'm happy. I'm still pushing that, but I got some books in me. And make sure I do everything with a level of excellency and with my soul.
Thank you, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And of course, we're going to come back to the other fellas as well, because I have another question for the other fellas just to get, you know, their take on something. But we certainly want to go to the producer. The producer was with us this weekend. As you know, we can't go anywhere without the producer. He makes sure that, you know, all of the technical pieces, you know, that we command camera confidence, that aesthetically we're looking good. He's the foundation of what we do here at Confidence Factor. And I know that this weekend was transformative for him as well. And so I want to have him come up and share his takeaways from the show, his insights from the conference, and what it means for him. So, Lamont, you know, come on up, my man. The floor is yours.
Here we go. Thank you. Thank you. So for me, starting out the conference, E.T. said something that really, really struck me. He asked the question or made the statement that, are you comfortable meandering in the maze of mediocrity? And I was like, whoa, right? Because I had to look at my life. And, you know, we're all a work in progress. And sometimes we give ourselves a pass on some things because we're doing good in other things, right? And what I realized in my life, that there's an area that I was meandering in the maze of mediocrity. And the funny thing is, I'm gonna be real heart level right now. When I came back from the conference, I still went there. I still went there. Because I know, because what happens is my saboteur always shows up. And today I really had a talk with God and said, I'm done. It was the same talk that I had when I gave up addiction. I said, you know, drug addiction. I said, I can't continue to do this. And so I found a way to kind of, to actually replace, get out of the maze of the maze of mediocrity in that area in my life. And once I did that, I mean, I got downloads. I got, you know, things just cleared mentally for me in a new way. So that was one of the takeaways. And then one of the things that Deon Sanders said, he said, I may not be perfect, but I'm present. You may not be perfect, but be present. And that really struck me because I need to be more present in who I am in Confidence Factor. You know, I've always been the guy behind the camera. I'm a social introvert. So if we talk about photography, oh, I can go. We talk about production, oh, I can go. But to have this level, what you see now, is really has been challenging. And more I'm understanding, and that quote really helped me. May not be perfect, because sometimes we don't put ourselves out there because we want to be perfect. We want to, you know, make sure that we say it right. We want to make sure that we look right. We want to make sure that we don't make no mistakes, but no man is perfect. But as long as you're present, you can still overcome some of the things that you may have in your mind as things that could stop you from showing up. So my thing is release all that. Release all that. Step into the energy of being present and being fully present, so that, like Chris said, that energy, they feel you. It's felt. So, and why should men invest in their, and you asked that question, why should men invest in conferences like this, in confidence factor, and what we're doing? Man, because it's so funny to see how many men showed up to that conference by themselves. Not funny, not funny. But there was a lot of men who showed up to that conference by themselves. And to be with a pack of men and to have that support and know that a Darian Hill got your back, a Javon got your back, a Bobby B got your back, a Rudy LaRose got your back, a Chris Ward got your back. To know that those fellas were in that pack, it just made me show up even more. So being a part of a community, investing in training, it is transformative. You become a better version of yourself. I can't wait to look back at this video 5 years from now and to see where I am then. To thank this version of me for being present today so that version can be successful.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Great stuff, Lamont. Thank you so much for your heart level share. You know, always keep it at heart level. That's what we do here at Confidence Factor. And I want to do this. I want to go back around the room real quick and ask this question because, you know, we get it. When you're in the environment, it's you're in it. You can sense the results. You can sense the need. You can sense why it's important. What I want you guys to do is do this. Let's do this. Think of yourself before you get into this world of personal development, because we have 200 is growing daily now, or 222 people in this community globally now, and we know that for some of us, we sit on the sidelines. We join something, we sit on the sidelines, or maybe we watch and we kind of see what's going on. We check things out as men. What I want you guys to do is to speak to that other part of you who is, you think that I don't need to be involved. I don't need to. It's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's going to really change. I don't see the real value in being present, as you said, Lamont, being present. James, what's your thoughts there? Because, as men, there are times when we feel like we have to do things by ourselves. I want to get your take on that, man.
I guess my take on this would be pretty interesting. I really don't have that side of me. Honestly, now, what I can say, there may be a difference of wanting the right group or the wrong group to be a part of. But me growing up as an only child, being in every single kind of sport you can think of, very, very, very social person. I love being part of packs. But I will say, before I came to Florida, made certain transitions in my life, I wanted to be a part of the wrong packs. So it definitely is important to be a part of the right packs. Like I said, my take on this isn't going to be as great because, I've never really had that side of me. I've always, wanted, and I've always yearned for like mentors and things like that, but not really knowing the right way to ask different people. That's why, like I said, I appreciate you guys for being so embracing and welcoming. And just so anyone out there that's watching, I mean, these gentlemen, everything that they say and everything, I learned in less than 24 hours that these gentlemen are really about what they speak about, and they really are who they present themselves to be. Because it's easy to come on the internet and create a fake persona, or say you're this and you're that, down to all the little details. I am one of them gentlemen that came to the conference by themselves. Like I said, these brothers welcomed me. I went to have dinner with them. I parked a couple blocks away from the restaurant. They made it their initiative to make sure they walk with me back to my car because, we were in a certain neighborhood and it was late at night. And, just little things like that. I mean, these brothers are amazing. And everything that you hear on here, if you're new and, you don't really know these brothers, I mean, they are definitely living and walking in everything that they're speaking about here. And I just love it. I'm very excited to be a part of the pack. I've always wanted to be a part of something great and a group of men that are doing great things that I can learn from and can contribute to myself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate you saying that, James. And I'll correct you one thing. Your contribution was on point and it was perfect. So everything that you say counted and it mattered. So I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah. So Chris, what's your take on that, man? You want to speak to this idea that sometimes, you know, me not showing up, maybe my voice doesn't matter, maybe, you know, I'm not sure if I'm going to have the necessary transformation. What's your take on that, man? Speak to the old self, or maybe speak to the fellas who think that, you know, I kind of need to still stay by myself. I'm in this group, but maybe I'm not sure if I should, you know, be present. What's your thoughts on that? Yeah, you're still muted a little bit there. There you go.
All right, there we go. Yeah, I got my voice back. All right. Don't ever mute me again. No, I'm just playing. Let me act right. Let me act right. Now, man, that's somewhat of a loaded question, man. But I try to unload these bullets. Just speaking to me and being engaging and being part of a pack and not being part of a pack. It outside of sports for me, like I'm an only child too, so I went solo like almost everywhere I went. So it got comfortable for me, and it became more of a habit. And I think more so out of going through life as men, we don't feel as though we can trust other men. We don't feel like we can trust other people with our situations or with what's going on with us, and we tend to just, out of habit, just be like, I'm good. I won't worry about it. I won't engage, or I won't, reach out for help, or I won't talk, or nothing's going to happen. And so, and it's and when I reached out, or when I decided to engage in the group, it was more so I just needed to be around, other men and just build my relationships, not really knowing the impact that it was going to have on me, because I was engaging, yes, but I wasn't seeking like that transformational relationship that I received just from being in this group with you guys. I mean, even before we even went on the trip, the what was that? The meetup, man. I had so much fun at the daggone meetup. I was like, yes, this is it. This is what I've been missing in my life right here. You know what I'm saying? Just being in, this environment of men who want other men to be better, to be successful, to be rich, to be magnificent, iron sharpen iron, being able to give and take. And good news, Darren, also, and the other group and the guys in the group that know, I text my son and he texts me back. So that was today, and that was today. So that's great right there. Good feeling, good moment. So, so when it comes to finding packs, finding groups, a lot of people find groups out of, especially when they're young, they find groups that they don't really belong to. And it's more so out of feeling some type of void, some type of hole that they're dealing with. And where we end up going, down the wrong road. Down the wrong road of getting with the wrong group. So there's really no initiative of like trying to find the right group until you're like of age or older, a little mature, be like, okay, this is not what it's about. I need to go start seeking something better, a different group, a different society, better relationships in order for me to be better. But you also got people that just get stuck and can't find their way out. So yeah, that's enough. That's the end of my rant.
Well, listen, first of all, I gotta honor you, and I'm not sure if the fellas know what you're referring to, and I'm certainly not going to share too much of what we discussed privately. I'll let you do that whenever the time is right. But I am honored that you have reached out to your son, and that that things are in the motion for connection. So that is such a proud moment for me to hear that. that is in the motion. I'm looking forward to hearing about how that relationship continues to transform. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yes,
so yes, sir. Yes. So Javon, I want to get your take on that as well, and of course wrap it up with Lamont. Like, this the whole idea of even what just Chris said. There's the engagement in the group, and then of course the transformation of what you're receiving, and maybe it's a factor of, as he said, habit. But speak to like the older self, like why is this the idea that being involved in a community and being locked in, may not be that big of a deal, and my presence may not matter as much. What's your thoughts on that, Javon?
All right, so I'm gonna be real honest with you. I grew up from North New Jersey, right? We was taught that you keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So you keep your eye on your enemies. So if they're close, you keep your eyes on them. Your friends, you can trust them, but keep them at a sort of a distance so they can't hurt you. Reality is that's the worst mindset to have. It is such it's a terrible mindset, but yet we grow up with that, and that becomes the identity we shape ourselves with. So when we grow older and we get out the environments, and I'm gonna speak about me, I got to that point where trusting people was not my priority. I know that I can take care of myself and take care of my responsibilities, and I didn't need nobody help to do what I need to do for me, right? So, but what I realize is this, right? It takes a team of doctors to bring you into this world. It's not just you're not coming out the womb by yourself. And I promise you're not going to the tomb by yourself either. You need people. We need a support. We need a team. We need brotherhoods. We need connections, right? We all have a soul tribe. We all have people that was manifest on this earth just to support us. And when you say, I can't trust you, you're telling God that I don't trust you either. You're telling the divine that I don't trust you. And I'm speaking from personal experience. So one of the things I want people to understand is that I was that guy that, that I'm not one of the founders. You see me here on Tuesdays, all because I learned to get closer, gain the trust. They trusted me. And I learned to realize that this was my assignment. And my assignment is here. And your assignment is here because you're in the group. So pick up the call. I get it. I'm the easiest person to access you. You see Javon, Dr. Love Jones in the group, hit me up. You can inbox me. You can hit me up. But make sure that you reach out, because as James, what he highlighted, we just met at the event a few hours, and he came out and was out for dinner for my birthday, and he recognized that we're genuine, and even that whole connection was divine. So understand that we are here for you. This is why we have Confidence Factor. It's not for just us. It's for all of us men.
I love it, man. Love it. Beautiful stuff. So Lamont, you want to say the final words, man? I want to get your take, man, because your shares are so beautiful.
So what I'd like to do is, can we go a little long tonight? Because I definitely want to hear what you got to say and what your takeaways. We can't walk away from this discussion without the professor dropping some knowledge. So we're gonna go a little long tonight. All right. So let's just put that on the table.
I was gonna ask your permission first before I made that decision.
We're gonna go a little long tonight. And then,
you have my permission. You have my permission.
Well,
and then we got to hear from Bobby B as well. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's responsibility. When I joined Confidence Factor, it was in a mindset that was very transactional. It was they have they need my service, and I'm going to get them to pay. That was it was very transactional. But when I got into the group after some time, and we started to build relationship, what I found was there's a level of responsibility. And to the fellas in this group, I'm gonna be quite honest with you, 200 and something brothers. In order for us to grow this organization, we need you.
mm-hmm.
We're gonna need you. Because when we're talking about 5 million men, we're looking at, as we bring men on, to put on that conference, there was so many people involved. There be so many people involved. And the thing about it is it takes it's a responsibility. So the question is to the men in the group who watch this, can you take on a little responsibility? Are you willing to come into and step in it? We need you because 5 million men need you. And so I think sometimes and I'm just looking at myself with self-development and joining stuff, the responsibility of keeping it up. There's a responsibility to show up here every week. There's a responsibility getting on Friday morning meetings to do this show. There's a responsibility of setting up the everything that it took for us to get down. There's a responsibility behind it. And the question is, do you have what it takes to be responsible, to show up in the process? In the process, you become a better man.
Wow. You just you put a full stop on that, boy. You put a full stop on that.
Come on, man. We need a flex. We need a bomb on that, like boom.
Yeah. He put a full stop on it. You drop the mic
off and drop it.
Yo, and so I mean, I like to talk about segues, and I think what Lamont just shared is a great segue for what I want to say. When you talk about responsibility, I think I thank you so much, Lamont, for being versus heart level. You talk about transactional, and it's funny. I put a quote. I think it was Jessie who says that to build meaningful relationships, it has to go beyond just being transactional. And I think to your point, that so many guys come into this community and they see an opportunity and they look at it from a standpoint of how can I take versus how can I give, right? How can I be part of the true mission, which is to get my self-empowerment and then empower other people. And see, as a group, as a community, here's what I want you guys to know. And this is a download that I got many years ago when I was going through, my tough times in life. God gave me this download, and it says that if you want to increase your standard of living, you got to first increase your standard of giving, right? So let me say that again. If you want to increase your standard of living, you got to first increase your standard of giving. You got to contribute. You got to be of value to whatever spaces that you're in. And I can tell you, every one of the men that are part of this community that have stepped up into some sort of leadership position or some sort of contributed position, they have access to relationships that they didn't have access before. They now have results in terms of the business that they didn't have before. And so when you come into this community, my suggestion is, hey, your question should be, how can I serve? How can I serve? How can I show up? How can I be part of the mission to impact 5 million men? Because again, if you want to increase your standard of living, you increase standard of giving. Our mission gives you an opportunity to be of service. Our mission is to impact and empower the lives of 5 million men to have a voice, to get up and be champions in their life, to be lions in their life, so that they can serve the world. And when you're part of that, your business get impacted as well. And I know sometimes it's a tough thing for many to grasp initially, because we're such in the habit of, hunting for business all the time. We don't oftentimes see the value of being a contribution. And I always say life is about two things: it's growth and contribution. When you contribute, you grow, and grow in your health, grow in your income, grow in your relationships, grow in your spirituality. You grow in all areas of your life, which is what we call unleash your riches. So I wanted to segue from what you just shared, Lamont, because I thought that was very powerful. But here's the thing, we got some back. Okay, there we go. That's better. So here's what I want to say that I got from the conference, and oftentimes when I go to conferences, it's not for the speakers. Let me say that again. When I go to the conferences, it's not for the speakers. I go because it's an opportunity for me to build relationships and connect with other people. I go to primarily meet new people and to be of service. And, here's one of the things I walked away with in terms of something we developed that we're going to start using in this community. And it came from one of the members. It came from one of the members of this community. And it's this whole idea that one conversation can change your life. One conversation can change your life. And I'm going to tell you about one conversation that changed my life. It didn't come from the conference. It came from the decision to go to the conference and the conversation that we have. Oftentimes, the transformation that you will have is not necessary from the speakers. is from the people that you meet at these conferences, is the conversations that you engage in at these conferences. And so, you know, driving back, I was fortunate to have a conversation, of course, with Javon and Chris and Rudy in the car. And that's when I got my transformation. Of course, there were other points of things that I learned from the conference, but for me, my biggest transformation came from the conversation we're having together. And oftentimes, these are the things that you'll have when you're in conversation, when you release the things that you're suppressing as a man, when you tell the truth about what's really going on with you, instead of trying to hide it and try to put on the mask, right? You're trying to put on a mask and the facade to show up like everything is okay and everything is perfect. You know, when you're in the truth conversations, that's when you get your transformation. So Javon was sharing some information about himself, and again, I don't share. People share. I let them share their share. I'll just say he shared something that made me realize, you know, how I was living, and he was an example of something that was quite transformative. So, you know, Javon wrote a book, powerful book. If you haven't got it, make sure you go and get it. Javon, let us know he can get that book. Talking about leveling it up. And, you know, as he was sharing about his life's journey with me, I came to realize that, you know, I've been making a lot of excuses. Because, and excuses around that you have to arrive at some perfect place in your life to be able to do something, right? Which is either whether it be write a book or whether it be, you know, up leveling your business or whatever the step that you want to take in your life. For me, it was like, hey, I wanted to write a book, but I always thought that you had to get to this perfect place or this particular place to write a book. And here's it as Javon, one of my Confidence Factor brothers, made a decision, right? Everything wasn't perfect in his life. Everything wasn't, you know, like the sky wasn't falling, dollar signs and stuff like that. He made a decision in his mess to be a contribution to people because of it, based on the things that he's gone through in his life, right? And he's out there selling his books. He's out there contributing. He's out there speaking, and that was a gift to me. And I told Javon that, but I don't know if you understand the impact that I made on me. It's really transformative to get the idea that there's no place that you need to arrive to understand that you count. There's no place that you need to arrive to understand that you have value today that you can give, that you can contribute in a very, very big way, that you can write that book, even if you haven't figured everything out in life, right? You can take that step forward into whatever your desire and goal is, even if the circumstances in your life don't look perfect right now, because that's what stops us. We think that we don't count because of, you know, where we live. We think of what we don't count because of bank account. We think we don't count because we don't have as nice of a home or a car like somebody else. We're constantly level setting and comparing ourselves with everybody else and assuming that just because of that we don't count. We don't have a voice. We don't have the right to show up and speak and share. And this goes back to one of the shares from Inky Johnson. And this is what his father was doing. Because of the mistakes that his father was making in the past, his father felt like he didn't have the right to have a voice, to share and speak. But, you know, but eventually he got to a point where, you know, through the transformation of Inky Johnson and things he went through, you know, was able to speak into Inky Johnson's wedding. And that was, Inky said that was one of the best things that happened in his life. And he doesn't regret anything that happened with all the trauma and everything that he's gone through in his life. And so I close by just saying that ultimately this idea that something has to change for us to live a life of greatness, that we have to change zip codes, that we have to, you know, have a certain level of money in the bank account, we have to look a certain way, we have to dress a certain way, and we have to have all these things in order to act like we count, is false. You count right now, you matter right now, and I count. And as a result, I'm going to make a bigger contribution. I'm going to write that book. That's one of the things I'm committed to. I've always wanted to write this book. I've had the ideas in my head, but because I felt like, you know what, I'm not 100% there yet, all these excuses, I didn't move forward. So Javon, I want to honor you and thank you again so much for your story. And again, see, he's proof right there in the pudding. He's proof right there that somebody else who steps out in the imperfection can allow somebody in the imperfection to feel like they count. And that's a beautiful thing. So that's my share. So, fellas, thank you so much for the opportunity to just, share on this platform. I honor each one of you guys. I want to see if the doctor, I know it's maybe a little bit of a long shot. I know he was really stepping up and trying to be here for us. And we're just going to see if he's here. But, if he's not, we totally understand. He chose to be here quietly. But the doc, I saw him go off mute. So, doc, are you here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen,
listen. Chris Ward got me fired up, baby. Listen, the body is challenged, but the mind is free. So I'm gonna jump in here and just share a little bit because listen, what these fellas are sharing is just powerful. First of all, I want to say, James, listen, this guy showed up sharp. For a man who had 2 bags of clothes, he came sharp. Boy, that thing was tailored and ironed to a T. Now, as a man who irons, probably not as good as Lamont. Right? I respected this man showing up so sharp. So don't get it twisted. He's laid back tonight with just a little shirt, but that boy could show up and do his thing. So shout out to him for joining us tonight. Shout out to him for just saying yes to the opportunity to join the pack and just share his thoughts and ideas. We were able to see his courage and to see his confidence, despite the man can shoot his shot. So I'm loving his courage. I'm loving his confidence, right? And that's just where it is. Now I'm going to move over to Chris Ward because Chris came home. And when Chris got back to the Airbnb, this man went immediately to the dining room table, took out his book and started journaling. He was not playing. I said, well, why are you writing that? He said, I never heard that before. And I want to put it and then instill it inside of me so that it becomes a part of my DNA. And that was powerful to watch. The other thing I noticed about Chris is when Chris was talking, Chris said, I was the guy. Now watch this. You got to watch people's actions as well as their words. When he said, I was the guy that was real quiet, he leaned back. He folded his arms and he barely started whispering to us, right? And then he showed the energy, the excitement, and the passion of the transformation. And to think that only happened in 72 hours, 3 to 4 days, man, this brother is on a mission. So I definitely respect that. One of the things that that stood out to me, during this whole thing is I'm always trying to figure out, how do we eat? How do we eat? Because at the end of the day, we got to pay these bills and we have to be the men that we intend to be. And part of the Riches program is income, multiple streams of passive income, right? As well as active income. So I began to look. So I'm going to tell you, I'm a little sneaky with it, but I'm going to tell you how I did it, right? We had a whole row of Confidence Factor men, a whole row, right? All with the shirts, all looking sharp, the lions on the front. We took a whole row. So I said, they kept talking about $99. We only charge $99 so that you could make it. So your boy, I got to do the numbers. Bob Proctor say, take out your calculator, play with it a little bit, envision yourself doing the thing. So I'm sitting there thinking about the Unleash Your Riches conference, baby. I'm like, how are we going to do this thing? And then I looked over at Lamont. Lamont was like, we got to make a couple adjustments on our conference, right? I'm like, okay, let me take out my phone and start taking notes of all the things that were dope and then all the improvements that we can make when it's our turn. You see, success leaves clues. And that's one of the things that I'm really putting in the back of my mind. I'm cognizant, right, about success leaving clues. As we go around to the brothers, one of the things was very hard for me growing up is listening to other people. Taking advice from other people. I'm a man. I want to do it my way. If I'm wrong, I'll go down with it. But you ain't going to convince me to do something that you don't know works. You ain't going to convince me to do it your way. But I've expanded, and I understand now that success leaves clues. So one of the things that happened is that as we had that whole row, I began counting. I ain't gonna say a lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Keep it hard level. I started counting. I said, okay, this is about 10 people to the row. That's $99 a pop. Our row got 12 rows. That's about 12,000. And then Darian. I stretched my neck up like a giraffe to see if I can peek just enough to scan the room and see if I can count how many sections so I can figure out the money, right? But I tell you what, they did the numbers for me. They said over 3,000 men showed up. And one of the things that stood out to me, there was a gentleman who came up, and I don't know his name yet, but this guy was powerful. He was so powerful. When he came up, Eric Thomas likes to yell and almost militant. So that's never really my thing. I could do it, but for a little while, right? And so this guy came up and he was, being very like alpha, like Eric Thomas. And I was like, oh man, he just gonna yell like Eric Thomas. I can't do this. So I was taking so much notes. I must have had about 12, 15 pages of notes off every single speaker. So when this guy came up, this guy said, the lion is not the king of the jungle. I said, wait, hold up, bro. We got a whole row of dudes with lion shirts. You're not about to do this today, okay? So I was going to stop taking notes. I said, I ain't taking nothing talking about the lion ain't the king of the jungle. This guy's confused, all right? But here's what happened. And this is what we've cultivated, a community of this, right? Some say, B, let your ego go. The mere fact that it's sparking you like that means that there's a nugget, a golden nugget that's going to be in here for you. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to stick with the notes and I'm going to listen. I'm going to drop my ego because listen, 3,000 men, everybody saw us, fellas, a whole row of dudes with CF shirts with lions on the front. So I'm, my mind started when I'm like, yeah, these guys is probably thinking about us. The lion ain't the king of the jungle. And they came in here with these daggone shirts, right? So, something say, listen to him because he's going to provide you something that you need to hear. So I dropped the ego. I said, I'm going to keep taking the notes. And, long story short, the guy began to share a story, a very deep story about how, the police came in and the police were after him. And they said, basically, he was with a pack. Kind of like what James said earlier, he was with a pack, but it was the wrong pack. Matter of fact, when he God got him out of one situation, right? And then he came back, he said, that thing when you say, God, if you get me out of this one, right? And God got him out of it, right? And then he went back with the same pack. And before he left out, his wife said to him, I got a bad feeling. Oh, I got a bad feeling, right? And he's like, okay. Look. I'm gonna go, right? But I'm not gonna drink. I'll tell the fellas that I'm the designated driver, right? And not drink. So, long story short, the guy went in and somebody lost their life. Like that was powerful because at that point we were like in the basement, it was dark and it was cold. And it was like him telling us that the police officer had arrested some of the other pack members and that they were coming for him next. Right. And he got back down on his knees and said, God, if you get me out of this one. Right. And what was powerful is that he got down on his knees. He raised up his left hand. OK, he closed his eyes and he went so heart level that you can feel the vibration, the tension in the room, the atmosphere beginning to change. And he said that, these new brothers, he left the old pack, got with Eric Thomas in his pack, and he said, these brothers, he was going through the storm. It was a trial. It was adversity. It was the law after him. And he said, you know what happened to me? These brothers prayed for me when I couldn't pray for myself. He said, these brothers spoke for me when I couldn't speak for myself. He said, these brothers looked out for me when I couldn't look out for myself. And so he went on to talk about the African wild dog and how this African wild dog is different than the lion. He said a lion will hunt till he gets tired, but the African wild dog, they will hunt you for 24 hours. So I said, okay, there's the nugget, B. We're going to learn how to hunt for 24 hours so we can bring it in. And one of the biggest things, that stood out to me about that is that he was on stage. He was making provisions for his family. He was getting his name out there, creating an impact, creating, influence in the place. And he said that I produce. And he wanted to produce for the pack. He wanted to hold his weight, which was the other thing about the African wild dog. He said, everybody eats. He said, sometimes a lion, man, they'll be like, hey, I'm the lion, I'm the head. I got to eat first and play the alpha card. He said the African wild dog, everybody got to eat. Everybody had to eat. And so what was powerful, I said to myself, well, how did he get that message? And he got that message because Eric Thomas paved the way. They found out through Eric Thomas' story when he first started out. It was 3 of those brothers. They said, Eric can speak the best. We're going to let you go first, and we're going to support you and get you out there, and we're going to pave a way for multiple companies, multiple streams of income. We're going to learn how to get it done. We're going to self-develop. We're going to hire people, form a community, and then those brothers start eating. And they paved the way for this brother to also come in and eat just like them. So what was powerful is Eric Thomas got up and said this. Now, being in real estate, I'm about them contracts, because without them contracts, you can't control anything. So I'm about them contracts, right? But he said, I didn't do no contracts with these people. He said, these are people in my phone that I called them. They called me. It's real. He said, I call them right now on FaceTime. They will pick up, because this is real. And he said, I didn't do those contracts. He said, Jessie said, if you need me, I'm there. He didn't ask for no security. He didn't ask for no hotel. He didn't ask how you going to feed me. None of that. He showed up and did his thing. And so did Deon Sanders and the rest of those brothers. They all showed up. But here's the thing. When you calculate that money, you do 3,000 times a minimum of 99 and not even counting the upgrades. One thing for sure, two things for certain. We know everybody got an opportunity to eat from that serving that they did for us. So as we move forward, what I loved about what he said, although it sparked the fire in me and I wanted to reject what he had, and when I dropped my ego, I realized that this man is of the same kindred spirit. He believes that everybody in the team has to cross the finish line. So I'm sharing that with you tonight. Devon said it the best. He said, look, basically, I'm going to paraphrase it. Javon said, how you practice is how you play. How you practice is how you play. So I'm here tonight. Literally, I'm feeling challenged in the body. I actually was throwing up during this broadcast. But the one thing I thought to myself, I said, I remember Michael Jordan. I remember Michael Jordan having the flu during the championship game. And this guy going in and dropping mad points, barely being able to function and stay whole. And my throat was burning. My chest was burning. My head was challenged. My body's aching. But I said, guess what? I'm going to learn how to show up, like I always say, when I feel like it and when I don't. And just like Chris Ward, you better believe I'm going to bring the fire, baby. I'm Bobby B. I relinquish the mic.
Yo. So, hey, so y'all wanted a mic drop? You got it.
There you go. Got it. Can't nobody follow that.
The closer. That's what we call him, the closer. Okay, that's what we call him, the closer. So y'all understand what we got with this community. We are committed to the pack. We're committed that everybody eats. We're committed that everybody gets a level of success that they want to get to, whatever success looks like them. So if you're listening out of the sound of our voice, you've heard some of the shares from amazing people like James Hewitt. You've heard the fire from the great Chris Ward. You've heard the need for inspiration and the need for practice from Mr. Level Up himself. And of course, the producer, always dropping the gems, making sure that it's about the community, making sure it's not about mediocrity, but it's about greatness. And we honor you guys for being here. Of course, we have the inspiration injection. So I'm going to have Bobby just do the inspiration injection before we close out tonight, so we can get this going. But we appreciate all you fellas for being here tonight with us here in Confidence Factor. So Bobby, do your thing, my man.
Absolutely. We're going to pull that inspiration injection up on the screen. And it's so powerful because I got a chance to talk with Darian early in the morning. The professor, I want to give him a shout out publicly because this brother has been putting in long hours. I don't know what he was talking about, not showing up and all of that, because this is a guy that I see that puts in overtime, okay? And he helps everybody with the framework. So he helped me to adjust my eyes and how I see myself, begin to speak into me and remind me how powerful I am. And I'm learning how to do that despite my circumstance, despite my situation. So shout out to the professor. And what I love about it, the inspiration injection for tonight is that brotherhood means that the whole team crosses the finish line. What we want to say to unite, guys, and everything that you do, make sure you keep it
hard level.
See you guys next week.
Hard level.